What's going on, everybody? Gutierrez here. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Total Fight Mike. It is the 4th of December of 2020. The year's almost over. Happy post-Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas to everybody, or whatever your holidays are. Happy holidays to everybody. So it has been a while since we last spoke. So we just got over Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. That was pretty cool. There's kind of not looking back too much farther. Anthony Smith got over the hump against a guy named Devin Clark. It actually should not have been the main event. The main event was supposed to be Derek Lewis versus Curtis Razor Blades. Jesus Christ, sorry about that, guys. I literally just had coffee. It's 3:30 p.m. I literally am in between houses and I gotta travel between neighborhoods that are miles away, but I actually kind of like it like that for now. But anyways, this weekend we actually have some pretty good fights going on. So like I said, it's 3:30 right now on the 4th, where I'm actually recording this during the Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray fight. So that fight is taking place at super middleweight. I believe your WBO champion is Billy Joe Saunders. Now, say what you want about Billy Joe Saunders. I know he had that unfortunate outbreak of the video earlier this year. But if you're a true boxing fan, and I know I say that all the time, if you guys are real fight fans and you've actually seen tape of Billy Joe Saunders, he can crack. And not only that, he's a very elusive boxer. He's very smart. He's a very tricky southpaw fighter. He loves to utilize head movement and footwork to really, set up traps for his opponent. Martin Murray's been a veteran. He's had, two tries to try. He's had 2 tries to try and get, championship, level status. Unfortunately, he's failed both times. But he's a very gritty, orthodox fighter. Both of these guys are from the UK. That's going to be a very tough fight. Southpaw versus Orthodox. Billy Joe Saunders is undefeated at 29-0. A lot of people have been trying to give him fights with Canelo, fights with Triple G. He's been trying to establish those fights himself. Canelo is going to be fighting Callum Smith pretty soon, later this month. That's going to be a great fight too. Next weekend we have Errol Spence Jr. going up against Danny Garcia. So, boxing's popping right now, actually. Not just in the UK, but all over the world. And while we're on the topic of boxing, tomorrow, there's another light heavyweight fight at 175 pounds. I believe that's for the Commonwealth and British European titles. A couple light heavyweights by the name of Anthony Yarde, and he's only got 1 loss, and that was against Sergey Kovalev. And he's fighting an undefeated gentleman by the name of Lyndon King Arthur. Now, I've seen Lyndon Arthur fight. He's got a phenomenal jab. He's got snake-like arms. He's got very elusive defense. He likes to hang on the back of the ropes quite a bit. Anthony Yarde is the type of fighter that likes to come forward. He loves utilizing the hooks. He's got a phenomenal straight right hand. Both these guys are orthodox fighters. Both guys do have knockout power. Anthony Yarde more so has an established knockout ratio than Lyndon Arthur does. But Lyndon Arthur in his last fight, he looked phenomenal. He looked crisp, and he boxed expertly. It'll be quite the contrast in styles, because with Anthony Yarde, you have somebody who tried to get a world championship belt, and if you watch the fight with Sergey Kovalev, he was basically winning that entire fight. But it was kind of reminiscent of Nigel Benn and Michael Watson. At a certain point in time, you expend all of your energy trying to put somebody away, and then you spend all of your energy, and then you get clocked, and all of a sudden you're tired. Michael Watson got Nigel Benn tired by the 6th round of their fight, and Anthony Yarde got tired in the 11th round of the fight that he had with Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev just landed a jab, and he knocked down Anthony Yarde. So Anthony Yarde did have a fight earlier this year. It was kind of a warm-up fight. I hate using that term, but It was a fight to set up this fight. So with Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur going at it tomorrow at 175 pounds, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I'm not so sure if Canelo Alvarez is going to hold on to that 175-pound title, or if that was just one more, a third belt for him to get, because, the 160, 168, and then 175. There's a middleweight, super middleweight, and then light heavyweight. It's pretty wide open, and there are a whole bunch of belts out there, so we will see what happens. But so that same day as the Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur fight, there is a Jack Hermansson versus Marvin Vettori fight. Poor Jack Hermansson, dude. This guy cannot get a break. Now, here's the thing about Jack Hermansson. Jack the Joker Hermansson, at 185 pounds in the middleweight division of the UFC in mixed martial arts, he's got everybody's messaging me right now. Excuse me. He's got a phenomenal work rate, and he's got a very unique body frame too. He's very long, or he's very strong in the clinch. He likes to utilize kicks a lot on the stand-up, but his bread and butter is very much the grappling. Now, his jiu-jitsu is top-notch. His wrestling game is pretty good, especially from the clinch game. He likes to hand fight quite a bit. When he gets you to hand fight, he likes to utilize lateral drops, and then when you're fighting for the drop or for the ties and your wrist and your hand fighting, he's already looking for a submission. That's what happened against David Branch. That's how he choked out that's how he got Calvin Gastelum out of there with the leg lock. Jack Hermansson's a very crafty middleweight, and he was supposed to fight Kevin Holland, actually, but unfortunately, with everything going on, Kevin Holland tested positive for COVID-19. Of course, we wish him a speedy recovery moving forward, because Kevin Holland's been on a crazy run this year, too. He's basically undefeated this year. He knocked out Joaquin Buckley, and Joaquin Buckley's very hot right now. And if you look at his last bout this time last year, was a submission loss. And him being a black belt, I believe he's a black belt under Travis Lutter, the former number one contender at middleweight. It'll be cool to see. It was cool to see the evolution of Kevin Holland's well-rounded game unfold throughout the year, especially with the activity. And he was supposed to show more against Jack Hermansson, but Jack Hermansson, he's fighting against a heavy-hitting middleweight by the name of Marvin Vettori. Having a heavy-hitting middleweight from Italy, He trains at King's MMA in California with Rafael Cordero alongside Calvin Gastelum, who's trained the likes of Rafael dos Anjos and Fabricio Verdum, former UFC champions, lightweight and heavyweight. And Master Rafael Cordero's spent a long time, kind of refining the tools of what is the shoot-to-box style of mixed martial arts, the very much forward-aggressive, hyper-aggressive style of fighting that you guys have seen Shogun and Vanderlei Silva and Murillo who utilized back in the day. So with Marvin Vettori, getting that type of training, we're going to see if he's at the level of a Jack Hermansson. He's been on quite the roll, too. He's a very heavy-hitting very, very heavy-hitting middleweight. Not to say that Jack Hermansson can't crack, but he's been dropped quite a few times in his fights. He's been able to rally back, and that's because of the level of his jiu-jitsu. But if you look at his fight with Jared Cannonier just had his number. He stayed poised, he stayed calm, and he utilized straight shots. And he wasn't allowing Jack Hermansson to get in with the clinch and try to suffocate and nullify his defensive striking, because his defensive striking was able to open up or was able to create an opening, and that's how Jared Cannonier was able to land power shots against Jack Hermansson, because Hermansson, like I said, he's long, he's tall, and he loves to utilize kicks. When he's in punching range, he wants to get your hands and your arms occupied, so we'll see if he can do that against Marvin Vettori, because the guys that train at King's MMA under Master Rafael Cordero, there's some some bad mofos. So there's quite a bit going on in combat sports. We recently heard talk of Khabib Nurmagomedov wanting mixed martial arts in the Olympics. I know the IMMAF has been working for a very long time and trying to get mixed martial arts in the Olympics. Here's my 2 cents about it. There are two sporting combative practices in the world. There's Kudo, which is basically mixed martial arts in a karate gi or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gi or a judo gi, and the guys wear the sword fighting Kondo helmets, and they're full out, kickboxing. They're locking up submissions. They're throwing up triangle arm bars, and they're utilizing takedowns and body lock takedowns and throws and all sorts of stuff. And actually, if you look at Sambo and Kudo are basically the same thing. It's martial arts with a top gi with wrestling on an open mat. I don't exactly know what the rule set is or what the time is, but getting mixed martial arts in the Olympics and full blown calling it mixed martial arts. I mean, I'm a combat sports nut. I love watching Taekwondo in the Olympics and wrestling in the Olympics and sometimes gymnastics in the Olympics, but mixed martial arts in the Olympics, I mean, they just recently added Muay Thai, I believe. Boxing in the Olympics, judo in the Olympics, fencing in the Olympics. There's quite a bit. There's stuff that I watch that I'm sure you guys don't watch in the Olympics, but just get Sambo or Kudo in the Olympics, and that's just my 2 cents on it. That's my 2 cents on it. But yeah, the world of combat sports is shaping up, especially in this world of chaos. Thank God, or thank goodness. So hopefully, with everything going, or hopefully with it getting closer to the end of the year, things will hopefully be shaping up to be getting back to normal. Like I said, hopefully by February we'll have something for Total Fight Challenge. Nothing set in stone, and this is all hearsay. We are not sure. I haven't heard anything. Excuse me, guys. But like I said, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode of Total Fight Mike. Excuse me, guys. I just had some Starbucks. Jesus. Make sure you guys drop a like. Please sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much to Patrick Luznicki at Luznicki Productions. I will see you guys in the sequel. Bye, everybody.